Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the MXP Muslim Experience Podcast. This is the podcast where we bring Muslims from different areas, from different, who've got different aspects in terms of backgrounds that they're coming from, to share their experience, inshallah ta'ala, from a Muslim perspective. So today we've got Sheikh Muawiyyah with us, who's a graduate from Medina University. And inshallah today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. And this is going to be a very interesting discussion because, as you mentioned just previously before we start recording, in order to really understand the permissibility and the ruling on actually investing in Bitcoin and so on and so forth, you kind of have to actually understand the history of money and how things have evolved and so on and so forth. So this is going to be more than just is it halal or haram to invest in Bitcoin. You're going to actually understand, I think, a bit more about the financial structure and the way things kind of work and so on and so forth. So that's going to be very interesting. And I think it's important that we discuss these issues before getting involved and actually investing in them and giving time to them, because we've seen in the past many people have invested in things, put a lot of time, effort and money, only to find out afterwards that the thing wasn't even permissible in the first place. Or they've avoided investing in things where they could have actually made some money, made some profit, some gain, but they didn't invest in it because they thought it was not permissible for whatever reason. And it would just make people's life a lot easier if at the very beginning they find out what the ruling on this issue is. As Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh, he would actually prohibit people from actually trading in the marketplace if they didn't know the basics of Islamic finance. So the same way now, people, they want to engage in these things and they don't even take out the time to just, find out yes or no if it's permissible. And it will just save them a lot of regret and a lot of pain afterwards if they just kind of got the answers to these questions at the beginning. So Sheikh, without any further ado, I think inshallah ta'ala will be good is if you could first off explain to us what Bitcoin isn't, because I think that would be a bit more of an efficient, effective way to get into the discussion, because then everything else is really the meat and the bones that we could spend a lot more time on that.
Okay, Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Okay, so it's important to get through some misconceptions, first and foremost. So Bitcoin, no problem. So Bitcoin, first and foremost, is not a physical coin. I know some people might think that's obvious, but there has actually been some cases of people. I think in 2017 when the price of Bitcoin kind of skyrocketed, there were some people who actually were selling Bitcoins
as an actual coin.
As an actual coin.
Okay.
And obviously it was a scam. The people who didn't know what Bitcoin was, they were actually giving money
actually buying it
for these coins.
How much were they paying?
I don't know, but hopefully not market price. But yeah, it was a funny news clip. Maybe it's not even true, but yeah, I can imagine what people think it's actually a Bitcoin because it's actually.
Well, I thought it was a coin at the beginning.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
That's the second misconception. Yeah. Even on a digital level, Bitcoin doesn't exist. I mean, not just because digital things don't exist, not tangible, as in really there are no Bitcoins. I'll explain in a minute. And another thing on Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. So first and foremost, what is a Ponzi scheme? Ponzi schemes are basically the idea that if people put money together, the idea is to get as many people in. If you are the one who takes your money out first, you get the majority of money out. So basically, the more money you get, is by the more people you bring in. So it's like a pyramid scheme. So you bring money in, and you can get to take money back out.
Okay.
And the last guy holding the bag of rubbish goods. He's the ones that ends up with a bag of nothing, and people exit early. So that's another example of what it isn't. I mean, there are probably other misconceptions about Bitcoin that we'll probably cover as we discuss it. But another misconception I would say is that people say Bitcoin is fake money.
Okay.
Say it's fake money. And with that particular statement, my question would be, what is money then?
Okay.
As in, you said something is fake.
So what's the real version?
Fake means it's not real.
Yeah.
So therefore, what is real money so that I can know what is fake and what isn't fake?
Okay.
Unless we can define what is real or isn't real, then it's just a claim.
Okay.
And a statement. So the first question is, Brother Imran, Da'wah man, what was the currency used at the time of Adam, alayhi salam?
Well, I wouldn't know. That's why we got you here.
There you go. So as we know, as Muslims, we believe that Allah created Adam and his wife, and from the two of them they had children. Before they had children, they ate of the fruit, they sinned. That started the whole process of the trial on planet Earth. Both him and his wife and Iblis were cast down to planet Earth because they weren't created outside of Earth. And from here, the trial began of obedience, worship of Allah, or disobedience, and the rest of it. Then he had children, and the children had children, and the family became, the extended family became, a village became, whatever. I mean, we understand.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the history of money, we have to ask ourselves, okay, when Adam landed on planet Earth, was beyond covering himself and seeking rizq and seeking provision and a home and whatnot, what need would he have for money? I mean,
he wouldn't have had much need.
Not even much need, any need at all.
I mean, he would have probably just grazed his own animals and
there you go.
Ate from the vegetation that was out there.
Yeah, because Allah said in the Quran, هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. So when Adam landed on planet Earth, technically speaking,
the whole earth was his.
The whole earth is his.
So he could eat whatever he wanted. All the
Pick
animals
from
were
that,
his.
hunt from that, skin this animal.
Just to translate the verse. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, so he is the one who created everything in the earth for you. Entirely. No. So the key words in that part of the ayah is lakum. No. That la means, the ulama say, mulkiyah, ownership. Okay. So this is lakum. Allah, who one created lakum, for you, mankind.
For your ownership.
Ma, as in this is everything.
No.
So that's why the default ruling of everything on planet Earth is halal.
Halal, sahih.
And then Allah reinforced that by the word jami'an, as in there are no exceptions. Yeah. It's not like you can own and you can't own. Everyone has the right for ownership.
Yeah.
So when he landed here, that's how it was. and we can assume, I mean, this is not revelation, we can assume that the way in which, or the dynamics of his family were similar to any family. A father provides for his wife and his children. Uh-huh. The children grow up. They also contribute to the provision of the collective. Guessing the men would be responsible for the grazing and the herding or the hunting. The women maybe for preparation, whatever it is. They had their family dynamics. But we can draw the parallels between their family and any family in the sense that when you grew up, was there anyone in your home keeping track of who owes what to what? As in, when you did a favor for your brother, was anyone exchanging something to keep track of that? No. Because we're family.
Yeah.
So the idea was, we're family. Yeah. That at some point, even though I may do things for you now, at some point in the future, you do things for me in return. Yeah. That's the dynamics of family. Yeah. And that's the dynamics of Adam's family and every family on planet Earth.
As you, for example, like a dad, he provides for his kids. And then the expectation is that, when he becomes old, sick, and not able to go out there and work, his children are going to basically put some food in his plate. And
that is why in this day and age, if a father doesn't provide for his family, everyone collectively will understand, Muslim or non-Muslim, you're not doing what you should be doing. Yeah. Because it's an understood fact. Okay. But as family expands, brothers extend to now uncles and then cousins and then second cousins and so on and so forth. At some point, that cohesion would weaken.
Okay, yes.
Naturally.
Of course.
And we can see that even today. So, for example, those who migrated from Pakistan or from Jamaica or from Nigeria and came to the UK, they had children here.
Yes.
Those children grew up. A call from back home says we need some money for something. Those children don't really know those guys from back home.
Yeah. Whereas the previous generation
will be fine.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. I'll send over
all that money.
Yeah. Because at some point, at some level, we're all family.
Yeah.
I do things for you, you do things for me.
Yeah.
It's family. But again, as the family distanced, therefore the idea of getting at your return, or the likelihood, you could say, on a psychological level anyway, of you getting back what you've given, comes more into play.
Yeah.
So you can understand that as the families of, or the children of Adam and the grandchildren of Adam expanded and maybe even migrated to other areas, the likelihood of you getting back something in return for what you've given would deplete itself. So there needed to be some level of recording that.
Recording favors.
So there's a myth and I call it a myth because of what I just said here.
Uh-huh.
If you ask anyone, especially even economics, they will say, if you ask them what was before money, and you know the answer would be what they would say.
What do they say?
I mean, have you heard of what came before money?
I mean, I could try and take an educated guess.
Go for it. Before we had coins minted and paper.
You mean in
notes
terms of actually trading currency?
Yeah. What did they do? So I've gone from my village to another village with my wheat.
Yeah, I guess it would actually trade actual commodities.
Exactly.
It
So
would trade
barter.
wheat, trade spice.
There you go. So the idea was before money came barter.
Bartering, okay.
But
I'm
barters.
sorry, I know a lot of people, my audience don't really know what bartering is.
Yeah, so barter is, I've got my flask here,
Yeah.
and you've got an
Phone.
iPhone. I want an iPhone.
Yeah.
You want a flask.
Yeah.
So we exchange.
The exchange.
Now,
Swapping, kind of like swapping.
it's a swap. Now, it has a benefit because I don't know you, you don't know me.
Yeah.
So although you might want this thing, I can give it to you, but what are you going to give me in return?
So here.
We could say, oh, I'll owe you one,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know you.
Okay.
So we just conclude the transaction
Uh-huh.
there and then, as opposed to in a family, it's not concluded. I've given you loads.
Okay.
Don't worry, in the future they'll give me loads,
Yeah.
and then it's all done. So barter is basically the exchange of
just
commodities.
so I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is at the beginning, obviously you do things for your family members that you don't actually record the favor because it's understood that you're going to get something in return as an expectation.
Excellent.
That when you need help, they're going to give it to you. But you're
Perfect.
saying as the family expands,
The trust in that it will come back diminishes.
it diminishes because there's just so many different people, so many responsibilities. The family ties are just further apart.
Yeah.
And you're also helping so many people at that same time. So now a need to record, actually document, hey, I done X for you.
Yep.
So you can get Y back in return. That
Yeah.
need came about.
So therefore, yeah, exactly. And this actually highlights what money is.
Okay.
Or the philosophy behind money.
Okay.
It's an IOU.
It's an IOU. Okay.
So, like I said, in a family, there is trust, and that's the key here. That's the key word here. There's trust that although I do things for you, you would also do it back for me,
Yeah.
and therefore that debt will be paid back.
Yeah.
So the origin of all things is a debt, by the way. From Adam's time to now, the origin is a debt.
When you say
IOU.
all things, you mean favors.
Yeah. So a favor is a debt.
Yeah.
I built a wall for you.
Yeah.
Now you owe me something back. That's a
Okay.
debt.
Okay.
So again, as the families expanded, then the idea was that there was barter. Okay, I've got 5 sheeps. Sorry, I've got a sheep. You've got 5 chickens. I feel like chicken today. You want some lamb today. Let's do exchange.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. But as a means of achieving that, it's not very effective.
Yeah.
It works, but it's not very effective because maybe I have a lamb and you have 5 chickens, and I don't want chicken, but you want lamb. I can either take the chicken or take something else, but effectively you don't have anything I want.
Yeah.
So what do we do? So this is where the practicality of money comes into play. We need to have something
Something objective.
Yeah, something objective that we can measure this debt. So I've given you a chicken. Now you owe me something.
Yeah.
But how do I measure this thing that you owe me?
Yeah.
In a manner that I can claim it back later on.
Yeah.
That's essentially what money is.
Okay.
So throughout history of mankind, there have been many things that have been used for this means of measurement. And historically, seashells have been used. Certain types of stones have been used. Even once in Scotland, iron nails, like nails where you nail things, they were used even. Feathers in North America were used. Rare feathers from a particular type of
So
bird.
they used to trade with feathers, trade with iron. That would basically represent.
Yes, but or let me reword the word. Let me reword it to reinforce the meaning. They used to measure loans or measure an IOU with these commodities or these things.
Okay.
So I've gone and built a house for you. That's a lot of work. How do I translate that work into something physical that I can use later on?
Yeah.
That's all it is. So we need to have or fulfill 3 things, technically speaking, for this to be practical. There needs to be a means of exchange, something that has to be easy to exchange.
Okay.
If I said to you, brother, build a wall for me, what are you going to pay me in exchange? What I'll give you is that cloud up there. See that cloud up there? I'm going to pay you that cloud. Now you might think to yourself, you know what, I'd be amazed if I can have that cloud. But there's no means to exchange that.
Yeah.
So whatever we do use to measure, it has to be something which is portable enough to actually exchange.
Okay.
Same thing, I could say here's a mountain over there. There's that mountain or that hill.
Yeah.
Have that hill.
I can't really give you that hill.
You can't give it to me. So it has to have a means of exchange. It also has to store value. So storing a value, what does that mean? It means that building a house for you, it might take me 6 months of labor. So that, to me and to you and to everyone on planet Earth, that's worth something. That's worth my time.
Of course.
It's time, really,
of
and
course.
effort. What can I use to quantify that? Now, let's say we live next to a river. And I said to you, okay, what I'll do, I'll pay you 5 buckets of water. Is that useful?
No, but you already live next to a river.
Exactly. So I can get you 5 buckets of water, or you get yourself. So therefore, there's no real scarcity. As in, I can get it and you can get it. Anyone can just get it. So therefore, it's not a very good means and mechanism to store value.
Okay.
In order for value to be stored, it has to have scarcity, as in you can't easily get it.
Yeah.
And it also has to be something that people actually want. Yeah. So water could be used if you lived in a desert.
Yeah,
if it was rare and you're in a desert. I'm sure we've seen all those films with people like in like Mad Max times when like living in a desert and everyone's like killing each other for basic resources, and they'll exchange a bottle of water. So that makes sense. But and where it's common, it's not a store of value. Okay. So I mean, even one person said that seashells to people who live on the seashore don't have the same value as people who live in the mountains.
Yeah, sorry.
And stones mean nothing to people who live in the mountains compared to those who live in this or at the.
So are you saying they basically had to try and find something that would be valuable to everyone?
Basically, yeah, it's something that people want.
Yeah.
And it has a level of scarcity. Yeah. As in you can't just wish it into existence.
Yeah.
So first, a quick revision. So for money to be practical, it has to be easy means to exchange.
Okay.
It has to be able to store value. And it also has to what they call a unit of account.
Okay.
Now we're doing a bit of mathematics here. So how many? Let me think. How many leaves from an oak tree is worth a day's work? So now you may say to me, 100. That's a unit. You've quantified that this work is worth a certain unit of leaves. Leaves, whatever. I mean, it could be leaves, it could be stones, it could be coins, it could be pounds, whatever. But the point is, I'm actually measuring work in units.
Yes.
So, for example, if you say it's worth 100 leaves, and another guy says 5 leaves,
yes,
and another guy says 1,000 leaves, then it's not really useful as a unit of account because no one actually knows what they're worth. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that money has to, or the things you use as money has to fulfill.
Okay.
So historically speaking, like I said, they use shells.
Reason anything that can fulfill these means can be a substitute for money.
Yes, and I use that word money loosely.
Yeah.
Because remember, we're still trying to expand what money is. It's not fair to use money to explain money. Let's say these are the 3 things you need to measure what I owe you.
Okay. So saying today we do it with banknotes, for example. But if an iPhone could meet those 3 characteristics.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So let's apply these rules to money. Okay. So you've gone to a coffee shop and you say, I want to buy a coffee. Yeah. Yeah. You tell me, how much is a coffee worth, technically speaking?
£2.50.
Okay, so therefore money is fulfill the unit of account. We understand socially how much or how many coins
wherever you go.
Yeah. That's the unit of account is applicable. Yeah. Rarity and scarcity. Relatively speaking, for us, there's scarcity because I can't make a note.
Yeah.
I mean, notes are made. And we'll talk about that later on. But we can't do it. So at least from our perspective, there's scarcity.
Scarcity, yeah.
And a means of exchange, I can take it out and give it to you.
Yeah.
And there's actually no way for me to give you a tenner and still keep it.
For me to give you a tenner, okay.
So I've got a £10 note. I say, here you go.
And you still have it with you.
And I still have it with me. There's no way to do that. And that particular caveat there, that has been the single most important part of defining money historically to this day. Up until, not including him, but up until this day. As in, what makes money useful is the fact that I can't have it in two places at once.
Okay.
So like I said, we moved now beyond the feathers and the stones and the iron nails, and eventually we've got to a point where we've got to now metals.
Okay.
Golds and silvers and coppers even, and certain other rare metals, historically speaking. They were used as a means to store this IOU, to store this work that you've done for me, to store this favor I've done for you.
Okay.
And again, I can exchange it. I can physically give it to you, and therefore it's no longer with me, it's now with you. It can store value, because especially with gold and silver, it has a level of rarity that I can't just walk across the road and pick it up the road. Yeah. I have to actually put work into it.
To acquire it, yeah.
And you can say that work I put into getting it is the value of it. And also a unit of account. So if you refer to my videos I did on zakah, we discussed for two whole videos or two whole parts a historical reflection of how much things were at the time of Messenger of Allah. So we went from smaller than a dinar, a dirham. A dirham is a silver coin, and a dinar is a gold coin. So the silvers were like the pennies, and the gold was like the pounds. So we recovered from things that were half a dirham, all the way up to things that were 2,000 dinar. And we covered how much a sheep cost, how much a clothing cost, how much.
So how much is a sheep? Out of curiosity.
5 dirham or half a dinar.
So half a gold coin.
Half gold coin.
One sheep.
One sheep, yeah.
Okay.
Which was, if you look at today's
how much would that be today?
So one gold coin at that time was 4.25 grams. Each gram today is about 33 pounds.
33 pounds. I could have bought a sheep for
70 quid.
17 pounds.
70 quid.
70?
Yeah, because it's hot.
Half a gold coin.
Start again. Sorry, let's start again. So 4.25 is...
A gold coin.
A gold coin.
Yeah.
So it's 33 pounds for 1 gram. So 33 times...
for 1 gram.
Yeah, so 33 times 4.25, and then half of that.
So how much is a sheep worth today?
About that. You can get about 100 quid, 120 quid in the UK.
For a sheep, yeah? Okay.
So I mean, the price of things in those days to now relation to gold hasn't changed that much. Silver has. Silver's been decimated. But in terms of gold, if you look at the videos and compare the price of things in their time to now, pretty much is the same.
Pretty much the same, okay.
Pretty much the same. So we've got to the part of now Islam has come. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has come. He's delivered al-Islam, and he has tied zakat to 5 things. And if you're Hanbali, 4 things if you're not Hanbali. So we've got money, which is basically the dinar and dirham. No. We've got...
But is it money or is it actually gold and silver?
But we'll come to that.
Okay.
Dinar and dirham.
Okay.
We've got what you harvest, crops and stuff. We've got livestock. We've got urud al-tijara, the things you prepare for trade, which is basically everything. Stock. Yeah. And the 5th one, if you're Hanbali, is honey.
Honey, okay.
The other madhabs don't include honey, but I'm just saying.
Wouldn't honey come under harvest?
Well, that is kind of the qiyas that the Hanbalis allow it in, and that's why the rules and regulations of when you pay honey is the same as the harvest. But I'm just saying, that's just the ikhtilaf. So, but issue becomes the money. It was mentioned the dinar and dirham.
So basically money, just for revision purposes, money, harvest,
what you harvest, but not anything in your harvest, food that you farm and harvest that you can store. Yeah, that long you can time. Store. Yes, that you can store. There was ikhtilaf on food you can't store, like bananas and strawberries, but food you can store like wheat and dates and barley and all that kind of stuff. Livestock. and stock that you prepare
Like,
for
example,
trade.
if I have a shop and I buy like crisps, chocolates, I stock it, that I would have to pay zakat on that.
Yeah.
And if you're Hanbali, you said honey.
And honey as well, yeah.
Okay.
And honey as well. So we've now, in terms of the history of money, we've moved from Adam alayhi salam up to the time of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where they had gold and silver as their money. And an interesting part of the research, which we discussed in that video, is that, funnily enough, they actually had counterfeit money at that time as well.
Okay.
There was some narrations where some of the Sahaba used to look at the Baytul Mal, that would have collected of zakah, and used to find some coins that were zayyif, that was some coins that was not full. So a counterfeit coin at that time would be a silver coin that was maybe not the full weight.
Okay.
Or maybe silver that was mixed with other metals.
Okay.
So people tried it. they tried to invent they tried to invent what was rare. So copper is probably very common, zinc is very common, silver isn't as common.
Yeah.
If I put a bit of zinc into the silver, I can maybe take this one silver coin and make it two silver coins.
Okay.
So counterfeit always existed at that time until now.
Okay.
And interesting fun fact as well is that the dinar and dirham are not Arabic words.
Okay.
They're Greek and Roman words. So it was actually a currency that was not minted by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came to a people that were using money that was there.
Okay.
And he attached the zakat to the money that was there.
Okay.
Later Khulafa wanted to mint their own.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the Muslim nations to be subjected to foreign manipulation.
It's Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, right?
Yeah. So they didn't want to link their economy to what they did.
Okay.
Especially when
they're going to war.
Governments then were able to do the same thing that governments today do, i.e. change the weights and manipulate the coin or the circulation of the coins.
Okay.
It becomes that a bit more later on. Anyway, back to the point. So gold and silver was the unit of account. It was the means of exchange. It was the store of value, and it was the unit of account.
So it had those three characteristics.
Yes, and that was what they used from then until, you could say, recently. Not just the Muslims, but non-Muslims as well.
Yeah.
Because
the whole world was using this.
Yeah, because, like I said, wherever you go, they obviously had to exchange certain things and use certain things. Maybe some places didn't use gold or didn't use a dinar or a dirham, but they had things you could exchange, things that they used.
That were gold-based and silver-based?
No, not necessarily gold-based. I'm just saying that the zakah in the Muslim nations was based on the gold and the silver.
Okay, but they had other forms.
Other countries had other forms. I think the first country to use paper money was China, I think. China was the first ones to coin the idea of using paper money. So where did paper money come from? Well, gold and silver, they have two major problems when it comes to being money. They're useful, but they have a problem when it comes to money.
It's too big to carry?
Too big to carry,
yeah.
As in, not say big, size, I don't say much size, but to do with weight.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
And also this unit of exchange. So you can exchange a unit, but how about change? How about if I want to buy one sheep off of you, and a sheep costs, so 5 sheep cost 4 dinar.
5 sheep cost 4 dinar.
5 sheep cost 4 dinar.
4 gold coins.
4 gold coins.
Yeah.
So how would I buy 1 sheep?
Okay.
You see the problem?
Yeah.
Which actually explained when I did research on the topic was, I don't know if you heard of the issue of riba, that one form of riba is where I give you 1 gold coin and get back 2. And I wondered to myself, who would do that?
Yeah.
Why would anyone? That's like me giving you a tenner and getting back.
So if you wouldn't have the exact amount, you'd give that.
Yeah, I mean, the hadith specifically said to exchange 1 gold coin for 2, or 1 silver coin for 2 silver coins. That's riba. But my mind psychologically was,
why would you
even do that? Because I mentioned the issue of counterfeiting and the issue of weight. Those 2 coins that you're exchanging for that 1 coin weren't the same.
Okay.
It was a means of trying to get change. I've got 2 bad quality dinar.
Okay.
And you got 1 good quality dinar, because there were qualities and grades. Even the Syrian minted ones were different from the Iraqi minted ones. Or not Iraqi minted, the Baghdadi ones. They were even different in weight. So what will happen is some people were exchanging 1 type for another type without being precise in the weight. So what the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, like for like in weight.
Okay.
So you can do your 5 or 50 Syrian dinar for 40 Baghdadi dinar, as long as they're the same weight.
Okay.
So that is actually the hikmah and wisdom behind that. So it made sense now why that happened. So later on, as time moved on, money became a very bad means of exchanging value on smaller things that were less than that. I mean, you could pick off or clip off some of the coin, but then eventually you're gonna have coins that are all clipped off here and there, which actually did happen. So sometimes people would clip off a piece of the coin, because it will do weight at the end of the day. Look at like the tool and break a piece off. So what happened over time is that people started to store their money with a custodian. That deals with the issue of storage. I could store all my money in my house.
So they will store their gold and silver.
Yeah, store their gold and silver with a custodian, and he would exchange with them a certificate saying that this person has with me this amount of.
It's like a bank.
Well,
the beginnings of a bank.
Let's leave the word bank out of it now.
Okay.
A custodian.
Okay.
And Islamically speaking, the job of this custodian was called a wadi'ah. A wadi'ah is, I've given you my phone to look after. I'm going to go on holiday. I don't want customs to take my phone and look into my private business. Yeah. So you look after my phone while I'm gone. Yeah. I'll use a cheap Nokia. When I come back, I'll get back off of you. Yeah. Now, the rules and regulation of Islam of wadi'ah is that you can't use it. It's not yours. Okay. You put it into a box. You lock that box. You look after it. And when I come back, you unlock the box and you give it back to me.
Obviously, a bank will use your money, right?
Well, that's the difference between a loan and a wadi'ah. Qardun is a loan. So I'm giving it to you and now it's yours.
And you can do what you want with it.
And you can do what you want. Yeah, because it's yours.
Yeah.
Whereas wadi'ah, I'm giving it to you, but it's not yours. Yeah. So custodians came about and they did a service. I mean, they can't say they did it wrong. So it's not a bad thing.
Would they be paid for that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, historically, I don't know, but I'm assuming it would be. Yeah. But I mean, they even still exist today. I mean, there are places in the UK, even London, where you have like a box, safety deposit box. You have a key. They have a key. You unlock it. You put whatever you want inside that box and you lock it back up. So that's yours. You keep it safe to yourself. And that was a role of wadi'ah. But in that case, but nowadays, they gave you a certificate. This certificate was representing what you gave them. Okay. But as this is a representation of what they have, therefore you can have denominations now. I've given you one coin, but I can give you now 5 certificates. Each certificate representing a fifth.
Okay. Why would they do that?
So you can exchange. So for example, now this issue of I want to buy 1 sheep.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying.
Okay,
yeah. Okay. In reality, I could give you a whole gold coin, but how would you give me the change? We need we need a unit which is smaller.
Okay, and this is how paper came about. You're saying?
That was the beginnings of paper money. It became more convenient for me to just give you the certificate. Okay. Than for me to just go and get my coin and give you the coin.
Especially because the coin necessarily can't be broken down.
Well, it can be
the exact.
No. The thing is, it can be. But it's difficult.
It's difficult, yeah.
That's the thing. We like to go for that, which is easy.
Yeah.
It can, even today, I can go and buy a gold coin. Yeah. I mean, the sterling or the kangaroo or the golden eagle. You can go and get those 1 ounce coins. And I can go to any shopping centre who will accept it from me. I want to do my shopping. And they always say to you, okay, this shopping is worth £10. Yeah, yeah. You'll give me what is worth 700 quid. How am I going to give you change?
Yeah, you can't give change.
If you give me money,
it's kind of like basically you got pounds and you got pennies.
Exactly.
So if I give a pound, but what I'm buying is only 60p. Yeah. Unless I've got pennies.
Exactly that.
You know, unless you've got pennies to give back to me, you're not gonna be able to give me back my change.
Which is something which is interesting about. You probably come across in England. The system in England is quite well thought out. Mm-hmm. We have pounds and we have a lot of pennies. 1 pence, 2 pence.
I've been to other countries where it's problematic.
That's what I'm saying. In other countries,
in Dubai, for example, the Emirates. Yeah. A lot of the time, they're just taking those
last few dirham away from you. Yeah, they say to you, I ain't got the change. Yeah. I mean, they'll say to you 1.2, as in one. What's the currency in
Dubai? Dirham.
They'll say it's 1.2 dirham. Yeah. So you give them 2, and okay, where's the 0.8? Ain't got change. Yeah. So that's a realistic.
Like it's so normal for a lot of them. Sometimes they don't even tell you. They just.
Yeah. Same in Saudi. They had halalas. You could have a halala. And if you gave them halal, that would be it.
What's the halal?
Halal is half the sub currency of a.
Okay, I thought about halal. You know that thing? I don't know if you heard about halal.
What the
It's
Hanafis do.
No, it was something is when they divorce.
Yeah, that's what they are. Hanafis are when you want to make halal your wife after the third divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that one. Not that one. That's a halal of a hat. This is a halal of a hat.
Over the hat. Okay.
It's a halal, not halala. So halal, not that one. So the custodian. So that's basically how paper money began. It was a means of a custodian holding your physical gold or silver and giving you paper, and you're using that paper as a means of exchange.
Okay.
But as you can imagine,
And that paper's been broken down into
yeah, you can do that. I mean, I guess at the beginning they maybe just gave one paper for all of it,
Yeah.
and then eventually they just gave you denominations.
Yeah.
But what happened, which you can imagine, why wouldn't it happen? The guy who's looking after your stuff, he runs away in it. You know, this guy is a reputable guy. He's looking after all these gold coins. One day he thinks to himself,
Let me just dip.
let me just let me just leave in it. Take all the gold and go. You go
So
back.
is this happening in China?
No, this happened historically.
Okay.
And it can happen even today. Why not? I mean, and even investments. If I invested money in you,
Yeah.
why can't you run and take money and run?
So my question is, this concept of a custodian, the wadi'a, is this an Islamic concept? Was it introduced by Muslims or was it introduced by...
No, I mean, wadi'a is what it is. Islam has a framework how you deal with it,
Okay.
but other systems have other frameworks to deal with it. So
Okay.
everyone has a framework. So in Islam, the Messenger of Allah has dictated that you can't use it without the permission and all that kind of stuff. So he's given us a framework. If you do
Okay.
give something as a wadi'a, how do you
Okay.
behave with that? But I'm not talking about Islamic society or non-Islamic society. I'm just talking about on planet Earth. What happened?
Yeah.
Up until the mid-90s, not I mean 1990s, I mean the 1900s.
Yeah.
That's a correct word. The mid-1900s, the money we used
Yeah.
was exactly that. It was gold stored, represented in physical form,
Okay. With certificates.
which was called money.
Okay.
Basically, money was backed by a physical commodity, which was gold.
Mid 1900s.
Yeah, until Nixon, technically speaking. But on planet Earth, all countries had money, but that money was a representation of stored gold somewhere.
Gold, yeah. I saw
Because-
what the gold reserves and
Gold reserve. That's the whole idea of a gold reserve comes from, because
Okay.
what happens was these guys who scarpered with people's money, government stepped in and said, you know what, this is happening too often. We need to now...
or running off people's money.
Yeah, run away people's money. So we need to now standardize it, bring it into the fold of the government, and we have a central reserve for the country, rather than everyone has their own thing. Because that's how it used to be. Everyone had their own thing.
Okay.
Banks or whatever they were called, they had their own custodianships, and eventually it became centralized
By
into
the
one
government.
thing, by government. Then Nixon. I'm not going to the politics of the reasons why, but basically he was the first one to depeg the dollar from the gold reserve and float it, what they call float it. Basically, its value wasn't actually...
Was not actually based on the gold anymore.
No. That was taken off
So
that
this
value.
is where it happened.
Yeah, because America had historically before, just leading up to that, America had a problem with their currency in the sense of if the government needed more money, because it was backed by gold, they had to find more gold. So they had to get more gold to be able to have more money. So he came to a predicament that we're in a
we need
war.
more money.
We need more
but
money.
we don't have enough gold.
We don't have enough gold.
So what they did is they basically detached
The two.
and then just increased the value of the paper.
Well, that's the thing. The value of the money was floated. So it became not pegged to anything tangible.
This is so stupid.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
that's inflation is gonna come from that.
well, inflation doesn't come from that, but the inflation comes through something else. But basically, there was this thing what they had was called the Federal Reserve Bank. I'm not going to the Federal Reserve, and that's going to make the discussion longer than what it needs to be. But in long story short, they floated the dollar, and they were the first of the rest of the countries on planet Earth to do the same. And technically speaking, most countries on planet Earth, their currency isn't pegged to gold or silver. It's actually pegged to the dollar, which is floated.
So in the pound?
I don't know about the pound, but like the Saudi Riyal, for example, that is pegged to the dollar.
It's
I know
pegged to
for-
the dollar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, for example, if the dollar was to literally go to zero today,
the Saudi lose all their money.
not just Saudi, every country,
Everyone else, yeah.
because their money is in relation to the
dollar.
To the dollar. It could have been in relation to gold and silver, and I think
So the dollar's
Gaddafi
become
was-
the gold and silver of today.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's become the gold and silver today. Gaddafi, before he was ousted and killed,
Yeah, I heard he wanted to kind of like fight against.
He wants to go backwards.
To the
he
gold
wants
and
to now
silver.
make the means of exchange between countries back to gold and silver.
Yeah.
And I think even Saddam, he wanted to make the means of selling petrol, I think the euro rather than the dollar. But this just gives you an insight, a little brief insight into how money and global economics happens in this day and age.
Okay.
So let's move fast forward now to, I'm going to just skip over the whole idea of inflation. I'm going to ignore it for now. Let's fast forward to the 2008 crash.
Okay.
You could say stock market crash or the housing bubble, which happened. At that time, what happened was the banks were giving out loans for purchase of or mortgages to people who basically bad mortgages that were not likely to be paid back, and high risk mortgages and whatnot, and it caused a bubble. People basically
High risk mortgage, basically, as in when you say not likely to be paid back, as in people who didn't have good credit history, but they would give them the loan.
Something like that. I mean, the way it works is that the system of loans or mortgages is built on the fact that you're going to pay at some point, isn't it? Now, inbuilt within the system of mortgages, there is the risk that you won't pay back.
Yeah.
It's inherent.
So they were giving it out to people maybe who had low income or...
Well, what was happening is that the risk was going too high, whereby the default was now beyond the threshold of what the system was able to hold.
Okay.
So, as in, for example, if you can imagine, I'm giving out loans, the system can successfully carry 10% defaults.
Yeah. I mean, it can take 10% of people not paying back.
It can absorb 10% of the people who don't pay and they lose money.
Yeah.
But they were giving out so much that it wasn't able to absorb more than that. More than
like
what
20,
have,
30 potentially.
So therefore, the price of houses crashed and it cascaded to other things. And basically, this was...
But how did it happen in one night? I always wanted to know, like, how does it lose value in one night?
I'm going to come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to the issue of trust and other things. But I'm trying to put a lot of things into, compress it all into one. I want to try and get to the issue of Bitcoin first.
Yeah, sorry, I actually forgot what we're talking about.
We forgot Bitcoin. What was Bitcoin? So, long discussion. I know I'll waffle a bit.
This is good.
What happened was, when that happened, if people asked themselves, why did it happen? People said, it's because of the banks. We trusted the banks of our money, and they basically flopped it.
I mean, they gave it out just too willy-nilly.
Yeah, they did some kind of... It was a scammy behavior. They did some scrummy behavior, and governments came and bailed them out and paid back their loans and whatnot. And basically, it revealed that this system of trust didn't really deserve our trust. As in, we trust someone who's trustworthy. Yeah. This revealed the cracks that people behind the system are not trustworthy.
They didn't manage our money in a very good way.
Yeah, they're not trustworthy people.
Okay.
Generally speaking, if you ask any guy on the street, do you trust the government? You know what they're... I mean, they might say no or yes, but people might say they don't trust the government, but in reality they do, because they still support the government by paying their taxes and they support the system by being part of the system. One person called Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's a person...
What's his name?
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Okay.
Whether it's a person or a group of people, we don't know. We don't know who he is, if that's even his real name. We don't know.
Okay.
But he thought of an idea of a digital means of exchange that didn't rely on trust.
Okay.
So let's rewind a bit. From the very beginning of Adam until now, the means of trust was the actual physical commodity.
Okay.
I trusted that because I have a gold coin and you trust that this is worth something later on, I don't need to trust you.
Okay.
I don't know who you are. But I trust that this coin is worth something, so I can trust the coin. Okay. Later, when Nixon did what he did, and people kind of forgot what money really was, people trusted in the state, in the system, that this £10 is going to be worth what it is tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay. The trust is in the system.
In the system, yeah.
But the system are people.
Yeah.
It's government, administration, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. They are people. He thought of an idea. Could we have a system like gold, where I don't trust in people, but I trust in the system. In the system. As in
the actual commodity.
In the actual thing. Now, there's a problem with the digital realm, is that I can just copy and paste in it. I mean, if I have a file, if I have a PDF document, it's not worth anything because you can just copy it yourself, and then you have it, and then you can copy it, and he has it, and then
So that goes back to that second characteristic you mentioned.
It's like living. It's like buckets of water when you live next to a river.
Yeah.
There's no value in it.
Value there.
How do you have scarcity in a digital realm?
How?
Exactly. That was the genius of Bitcoin. He put forward what's called a white paper. A white paper is basically a document outlining how your system would work. So he published it in 2008 that basically as a response to the banking system and this corrupt system, I proposed this solution. So he published it on the internet. People looked at the idea. They thought it was a good idea. They all collaborated to work on it. And they first published the first launched the network of Bitcoin in 2009. It's like a few months later. And that's when Bitcoin was born. So the next question would be, what is Bitcoin, isn't it? I mean, if it was born, what the heck is it? Now, when it comes to Muslims, I think the best way to explain that is to draw parallels.
Okay.
To draw a parallel. And I'm going to do a controversial one, especially those who say Bitcoin is haram or Bitcoin is not good or you should allow it. I'm going to say Bitcoin is like Quran. That's controversy there, isn't it? That's controversy. Okay, let me explain now. How do I know Quran is Quran? I mean, if I said ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, how do I know that's the word of Allah? You tell me. What's the dalil, brother?
Tawatur.
Tawatur?
Yeah.
What does that mean, brother? Explain to the audience. What does tawatur mean?
So in a very simplified, dumbed down
Very simplified way.
Okay, it's something that's so known amongst the people from different places, different generations, different times. People who speak different languages, come from different backgrounds, and they all agree upon it to be the same thing.
Yeah.
That to claim that it is not the way it is would be to claim a mass conspiracy.
Perfect, excellent. So the idea of tawatur, if you look at the Quran, how does the Quran, or what is the tawatur of the Quran? The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this is the speech of Allah. He taught it to the companions, and they memorized it.
Sahih.
So many of them memorized it at that level that if you was to go to any one of them and say, is this Quran? They say, yeah, this is or this isn't. To the point when even Umar heard one person reciting, and it looked strange to him, so he took it to the Messenger of Allah. The point is that there was checks and balances there as to what is and isn't the Quran.
Okay.
And if you read the history of how Uthman compiled the official written version of the Quran, that actually indicates a secret about the Quran. People always say that, the Quran was written early on and blah, blah, blah. You have the early manuscripts.
Yeah.
I always say to them, brother, put that aside.
Yeah.
The Quran was Quran before it was written. That manuscript which we are referring to was only agreed upon because it was memorized and there was a consensus that it was Quran.
Sahih.
If there was 50 people saying this is Quran and another 50 saying that this is not Quran,
then it wouldn't be
Quran. But they all agreed that this thing here is the Quran. So that's the first level.
Yeah.
Then we had the Tabi'een who memorized from the Sahaba, and they memorized at such a level that again it was impossible for them to agree upon on kadhib.
Yeah.
And then the Tabi'een, those who came after them, they memorized it again to such a level that it was impossible to call a lie. And if you went to any person who memorized the Quran, it's sitting,
is this Quran?
Is this Quran?
They'll tell you straight away.
Not only will he tell you, he will give you where he got it from and where he got it from.
The chain.
And that chain you can verify.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it from this person. You got it from that. You can actually gather all the chains together and see that every single of these 100, 200, 300 people, they all got this. They may have different routes, different paths to the Messenger of Allah, but they all have the same thing.
Yeah.
So therefore, when it comes to the Quran, do we trust the Sahaba?
Of course you do.
No. Is our trust in the Quran based on our trust in the Sahaba?
No.
No.
Because it's on the fact that it came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
No. It's because it's impossible for them to all have agreed upon this.
Okay.
Tawatur.
Yeah.
And what the unique feature of tawatur, the issue of trust in the Sahaba only comes into play with ahad.
Okay.
Things that are not mutawatir. Then therefore I trust him based on his truthfulness and reliability and the rest of it. But the beauty of tawatur is that
there's no way for it to be a lie.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Even if half of them are liars.
It's a means of proof in and within itself.
There you go. You see it. is a trust that transcends the people involved.
Okay. Tawatur is a trust that transcends the people involved.
There you go. So therefore, it actually doesn't matter.
So Bitcoin is like that?
Well, we'll see in it. It's a means of trust that transcends the people. So,
not to say that Sahaba are not trustworthy.
Not saying that I'm not trustworthy, but I'm just saying is that
you only have to talk about the issue of trust when you're talking about singular narrations. When you're talking about recurrent multitude narrations, then it's above and beyond the people.
Yeah, so you could say the basis of Bitcoin is actually the basis of the reliability of the Quran.
Okay.
The Quran we know is the Quran because even to this day, go to Pakistan, go to Bangladesh, go to Morocco, go to Saudi Arabia, go to the UK, go to the United States. There's not a place on planet Earth you can go and find a Hafidh except that what he's memorized is the same.
Yeah.
It's the same everywhere. But not only that, it's reached a level now that if you was to imagine there was to be nuclear war, and we hope that Allah will never declare a nuclear war, but imagine there's a nuclear war that literally levels the whole of Asia, the whole of Europe, the whole of America, North and South, the whole of Africa even. And this includes Australia. Would you believe the Quran will still survive?
Of course it would.
Because we still have the Caribbean, where they have Huffaz there. We've actually literally destroyed 90% of planet Earth, but the Quran still exists.
Yeah, Sahih.
So imagine we can have a means of measuring value like that.
Okay.
Whereby it doesn't matter what you do to individuals, the system will always be there. Because the system of trust transcends individuals.
Okay.
And that's basically what Satoshi Nakamoto put forward is a digital system that can fulfill that purpose of trust that transcends individual trust. So therefore...
So he knew about Tawatur or is this his own...
The thing is, we don't know who he is.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that some of the Mashaykh have raised. Who is this Satoshi Nakamoto? I mean, how can we trust him? You see it here?
Sahih.
But that's the question. How can we trust him?
But the point is that what you're saying is that it's not about trusting him. He created a system that transcends him himself.
How can you trust Pythagoras that his theorem was correct?
Okay. I mean, the theorem
transcends him.
Yeah.
It's something that we can all prove. We can all see that exists. And Satoshi Nakamoto used mathematics to make a system of that transcended trust.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we got to. So that still leaves the caveat or the elephant in the room is what is Bitcoin then? I mean, what is it? And this is the main reason why I thought it was important to have the idea of this history of money, because essentially what Bitcoin is exactly what money was at the time of Adam and his kids and what came after that. It is just a means to record who owes what to who.
Okay.
What is Bitcoin? There is no coin. There are no coins. There is no such thing as a digital wallet where you put little physical images of coins and there's nothing like that.
Okay.
If I have a Bitcoin wallet, all it is a number.
Okay.
And every Bitcoin node, and when I say Bitcoin node, think of a node as being a Hafidh al-Quran. A Hafidh...
No, I mean, what is a Bitcoin node?
Oh, explain.
Yeah.
A Bitcoin node, I'm trying to bring parallels because I don't want to get technical and then lose the plot or lose the thing. Think of Bitcoin nodes as being Huffaz al-Quran.
Okay.
If you're Hafidh al-Quran, you're a node. If I'm a Hafidh al-Quran, I'm a node.
Okay.
What's the parallel between a node and a Hafidh al-Quran? What you have in your head is the same as what I have in my head.
Okay.
So a Bitcoin node has a list of every transaction, every exchange on planet Earth from the very beginning of 2009 up until today. They have a record of it.
Okay.
It's just like you've memorized from Fatiha to Nas, every single haraka, you have a record of it. I mean, the difference between the Quran and Bitcoin is obvious in the fact that Bitcoin is an ongoing record which is constantly being added to, and the Quran is not.
Yeah.
Loads of differences between the two, but I'm trying to use a parallel terms of understanding. So if I wanna transact, I wanna send you one Bitcoin. I send a message to the network. What's this network? Literally, the network is just like if you wanted to broadcast your location to the network. You can just go on your computer and you broadcast.
The node is a network.
No, network is just the internet, the servers, computers, everything which is connected to the internet is connected to the network of computers.
Okay.
So there are computers out there who are out there just listening.
Okay.
for any broadcast
Just
information.
recording.
Yeah, so basically you going out there and shouting, look, mate, I've just given 1 Bitcoin to Imran. I just broadcasted it.
Yeah.
Everyone can see it.
Yeah.
It's not a secret. I'm not sending it to you specifically. I'm sending it to everyone who can hear it.
Okay.
Then there are what's called miners. Everyone's heard of a Bitcoin miner. Miners, they hear these broadcasts
Yeah.
and they wrap it up in like a block. That's where the blockchain comes from. Wrap it into a little block. I'm not going to get technical. They wrap it into a little block, and then they announce that this is a block. This is a block of the transaction that taken place just now. These all the announcements. I've taken all the announcements. I put it into this little block.
Okay.
And then all the huffaz, they say, let me hear this new ayah. Let me hear this new block.
Uh-huh.
And we memorize it. So they take this block and then they add it to their block and they all memorize it.
Okay.
So if I want to check how much money you have in your wallet, you go to the nearest hafidh. I say to him, Akhi, how much money do I have in my wallet?
Yeah.
And he goes, this is how much you have.
Okay.
But wait, how can I trust you? You might be lying to me. Let me ask another hafidh.
Are these nodes like people, or you're saying they're computers?
On the computers.
Okay.
But I'm trying to draw a parallel. So imagine in real life, you're hafidh. I say, brother, how do I know this ayah is in the Quran?
Yeah.
If I asked you, brother, is ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ an ayah of the Quran?
Yeah.
You say yes.
Yeah.
But how do I know you're telling me the truth?
So I got a record of it.
No, how would I know? I don't know
The
you.
fact that you can verify it from anyone else.
I can go to any other hafidh.
Yeah, you go China, you go Africa, you go Africa, wherever you go.
And they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
So my trust isn't in you, Imran.
Yeah.
It's in the fact that everyone has the same record.
Okay.
So that's how Bitcoin works. Bitcoin works that there's thousands of nodes across planet Earth, and they all have a record of all transactions.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask any one of them, and they all tell me the same thing.
Okay.
So, like I said, imagine China and Russia turned off their internet. So literally, none of the citizens inside China or Russia could access the internet.
As long as the internet somewhere,
If it's somewhere else, it still exists.
even if it's just in one city.
Yeah. So if you was to ask, the joke is, even if the whole globe, planet Earth, turned off the internet, so the internet was to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Have I lost my Bitcoin?
No,
Why not?
because there's still some places that still have the internet.
No. There is no place
Okay,
internet.
the whole world turns the internet off.
Oh, there's no internet. Have I lost my Bitcoin?
Wouldn't you?
No, because the nodes still exist. They might not be able to communicate to you and
But
tell
they're
you,
still there.
but they're still there.
Okay.
So to be honest, the joke is, the same way you have to destroy Bitcoin is the same way you have to destroy the Quran. How would you destroy the Quran today?
Just kill every single person.
There you go.
Yeah.
To destroy Bitcoin, you have to literally destroy every single computer, every single node on planet Earth. You have to get their hard drive, get their data, and corrupt it, destroy it, and remove it.
So how many nodes are there? Like,
Thousands.
where are they?
They're everywhere. That's the joke.
I mean, when you say node, you mean like a Bitcoin node, like, as in it's dedicated.
So let me
Bitcoin?
explain. So if you wanted to run a node,
Yeah.
you go to the Bitcoin website,
Yeah.
you download the software,
Uh-huh.
you load that software up.
Uh-huh.
The first thing that software will do is say, I'm a new node.
Okay.
I have no information.
So you're saying every single guy who's got a Bitcoin has got a node?
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you've downloaded the software, but the software is empty. There's nothing in there.
Okay.
So you announce to the network, I'm a new node.
Okay.
I want to find out what's next.
Uh-huh.
So then all the other nodes say, oh, look, here's this new guy comes to join a madrasa. Let's teach him the Quran. Let's teach him our information.
Okay.
Then you download all the transactions from everyone else.
Okay.
And then when you are synced fully to the network, then you become what's called a fully verifying node. You become a node who are now hafidh. Now you are a trustworthy person that everyone else now can come to you and ask. Because before that, I can't. Because
Me on my software, my program,
yeah, on your computer.
on the computer, yeah.
So you download. Once you downloaded everything,
Yeah.
then you would announce to the network, I've got all the nodes, I've got all the information. I can now give everyone else the information.
Okay.
That's it. So, and that is what makes Bitcoin
So
what it
there's
is.
probably, I'm assuming, more nodes, Bitcoin nodes than Hufad.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know what. Thing is, the reason why Bitcoin is so powerful is because there's no permission. Do you need permission to memorize Quran?
No, you don't.
Do I need permission to open a bank account?
From the bank you do, yeah.
Exactly. That is why
So they have control.
That is the reason why Satoshi did what he did. Is he wanted a system that didn't need people.
Okay.
There's no one you need to get permission from it. No government can stop you. No bank can stop you. Your parents can't stop you. The internet service providers can't stop you. No one can stop you from having a Bitcoin wallet, from sending money and receiving money. It's called a permissionless system. So that's basically what it is. So if I want to send one Bitcoin to you, I announce to the network I'm sending it. Nobody on planet Earth can say no, don't let this happen. Stop the transaction. Reverse it even. It can't happen. Because you announce it to everyone, the miner just takes it, adds it to the block, everyone memorizes it, it's done. If I sent money to you through bank transfer, imagine I bought something from, this happens quite often, imagine you buy something from eBay.
Yeah.
So I sent the money,
Yes.
nothing came through. I can phone up PayPal and say, PayPal, he hasn't sent me the goods. What would they do? They reverse it.
Reverse the transaction.
Because I only gave him money via PayPal.
Okay.
They gave me permission to give it to him. And they can revoke that permission. But who are they? We trust them.
We trust them, yeah.
We have trust in PayPal, just like we have trust in banks, just like we have trust in the system. But what Satoshi was saying is, what happens when that trust is gone? What happens when that trust in the system is depleted? Like Venezuela, they're going through hyperinflation. Every month, their money is halving every month.
Subhanallah.
Because the government's just printing more money.
Halving or doubling? Oh, it's halving in value.
Halving, yeah. So if your wages was £1,000 last month, and with that £1,000 you could pay your rent, just about. This month, you're still getting £1,000.
Every month you're saying this happening.
Yeah, it's called hyperinflation. Have you never seen the Zimbabwean one?
Yeah, the kid with the barrel.
Yeah,
the
same
barrel.
thing. Yeah, same thing. Like there's a banknote, the Zimbabwean banknote, it's a famous banknote. It's $1 trillion.
Yeah.
$1 trillion because it's hyperinflation.
Yeah.
But how did they get that far?
I've
Because
seen a picture of the kid with the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And he's got all those notes and he's saying he's going to buy one loaf of bread.
why that happened? Because the trust in the system was gone because the government printed more money than was supposed to be there. Basically, we trusted these guys to look after our economy, and they fluffed it. They messed up with their shenanigans. So Satoshi wanted to make a system that didn't depend upon me, you, or anybody else. It's a system that exists outside of everybody else.
Okay. So that's what Bitcoin is.
That's what Bitcoin is. So, like I said, not going to go into the details of Bitcoin and all the rest because there's a lot to be said, and maybe in another podcast we can go into it. But basically, one of the unique features of Bitcoin, let's now apply the 3 rules about money to see if it works at Bitcoin. So, first thing was a means of transfer. So with Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin I can send to you, but I can send denominations as 0.1 or 0.01 or 0.0001
Of a Bitcoin.
Of Bitcoin, yeah. So
just like they did with gold.
No. Gold
But they had the certificate.
is limited. I mean, gold is physically limited by the physical atom.
Yeah.
As if I was to be really technical and say, what's the smallest amount of gold I could transmit? 1 atom. Yeah, because I can't transmit less than an atom, can I?
Yeah.
So you can almost say the atom's weight of a Bitcoin is what's called a Satoshi. That's 0.
It's actually called Satoshi.
It's called Satoshi. After the founder, innit?
Yeah.
It's 0.000000001 Bitcoin.
So how much is that worth in pounds?
It's like worth like 0.000 pennies.
Okay.
It's really tiny, like micro fractions.
Okay.
But the point is, as a means of exchange, I can send you any amount of Bitcoin, whether it's a pound, a penny, even fractions of a penny, I can send that. So it's a good means of exchange.
Okay, good.
That's 1. Number 2, a store of value. Now, some may argue with me on this one, but what we do have with Bitcoin is scarcity. So when we say store of value, is it scarce? Yes. There's a limited supply of Bitcoin. In the hard code, in the actual code of Bitcoin, there will only ever be 21 million of them.
Ever.
That's it. You can't have more than that. So in terms of scarcity, it's more scarce than gold because gold, potentially we can go to other planets and mine gold if it exists. It's just an element, really. So the gold can exist anywhere in the galaxy and you can find it on planet Earth. So you can always get more gold at some point. Whereas in Bitcoin, based on the actual system, you can't get more than 21 million. So it's scarce. But in terms of value, can you store your value in it?
So how long term is it? Let's just say the whole world gets onto Bitcoin. 21 million would be enough for everyone?
Well, good point. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. So if every one person had one Bitcoin, after the 21st millionth person, then no one has a Bitcoin, isn't it? So therefore, we have to divide it. So literally speaking, if you
okay, then it will become
0.0.
Yeah,
so I did the maths the other day. Sorry, because
no problem.
I
Just
did
break up into further denominations of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I did the math the other day. If you was to split up Bitcoin evenly amongst the whole of planet Earth, 7-point-something billion people, every person will get 0.028 Bitcoin. 0.028.
But then the value of that would be a lot.
If you get the value, I'm saying that if everyone on planet Earth was to have a wallet, and was to give a wallet to everything, give an equal amount of Bitcoin to every single person, then everyone will get 0.028.
Okay.
That's what we'll get. So how much is it worth? We'll come to that in a minute. So in terms of rarity and scarcity, that's there. But in terms of value, now Bitcoin is a funny one. Well, not Bitcoin. Currency is a funny one. And this is where we have to understand about money as well. How much or how many sheeps could I buy with 1 dinar, see if you remember.
1 dinar?
1 dinar.
It was with 1 dinar. Wasn't it 4 dinar? One sheet was 4 dinar.
$1 dinar. So I mentioned to you, I was seeing if you was paying attention. You was paying attention, but you forgot the names. Dirham is the silvers.
Sorry, 4 dirham.
5 dirham
is 1 sheep. Yeah.
But 10 dirham is 1 dinar.
10 dirham is 1 dinar, yes.
But how do you determine that? How do you determine that?
Based on the weight.
So I mean, here's 5 dirham. Who said that 1 sheep is worth 5 dirham?
Just society.
Exactly, supply and demand. So therefore, people sometimes look at Bitcoin and they say, okay, Bitcoin price was this yesterday, it's this today, and it's that tomorrow.
It's changing.
I mean, what kind of thing is that? But
the supply and demand is
money, from the beginning of time until now, always changed. Because the value of things, relatively speaking, always changes.
Okay.
That's why the whole idea of how much something costs is not really a good question. I mean, when you might look at something and say, oh, that's too expensive.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does too expensive mean?
That you can't afford it.
It could mean that. What else could it mean? Some might say it's not worth it. What does that mean?
It doesn't have the value.
Okay, doesn't have value. But is that a true statement?
It's subjective.
Perfect, excellent. So if you said it's not worth it, what that really means is I'm not willing
to pay that much.
much for that.
Okay.
So imagine there is an iPhone.
Yeah.
There was a time when iPhones were £500.
Yes.
Some were saying, I'm not willing to pay 500 quid for a phone.
But now they pay $1,000 for it.
No, yeah, but some people did. The market kind of decided, when Apple first launched the phone, the market decided that 500 quid was okay for a phone because people still bought it.
Yeah.
People weren't willing to pay for it. Some weren't and some were. But overall, Apple made a profit and they were able to charge that and maintain that price. So therefore, the market accepted that was the price of an iPhone.
Okay.
They increased the price.
It became status quo after a while.
It became status quo. They increased the price. Now we have the highest you could pay for an iPhone now is like 1,500. But the joke is Apple's still making profit. So I might not want to pay for that much.
But there are people who do.
But people still want to do that.
Okay.
So the value of things changes anyway based on supply and demand. Supply and demand. At the moment, currencies are the same because you can still buy and sell currencies.
Yes.
I could change my pounds to Saudi riyals. I could buy Saudi riyals back to pounds.
Yes.
Now, imagine everyone in England got scared of the Brexit and started to shift their money into Saudi riyals.
Yeah.
That will change the value of the riyal.
Sahih.
Because there'll be less riyals available for the amount of people who want it. The demand would have increased.
Oh, is that how currency goes up and down?
That's how that's kind of how it goes up and down.
This is a bit of a side.
Not currency, it's everything. The value of things is
this is a bit of a side point, yeah. So I was in Dubai about 1.5, 2 years ago when they announced the whole Brexit thing. And I remember literally I was there at the time. I remember overnight my pound was worth like 5 dirham. Then it went down to like 4.4. And people were telling me this because of Brexit. So how I don't get it.
So yeah, basically, Markets. Forget currencies for now. Just talk about all markets.
So people took their stocks out from the British Army.
Think of, I'm saying, literally take your mind away from the idea of money.
Okay.
And just look at the idea of value.
Okay.
There's two things that go ahead. There's the issue of supply and there's the issue of demand.
Uh-huh.
If there is a lot of supply, like imagine you're a shopkeeper, you've got loads of stock.
Yeah.
And you need to shift it.
Okay.
So you put on a sign here and say, this is, I want to sell each item for $5.
Okay.
I want to shift it today. Half of the day is gone. That's noontime. You've only shifted like a quarter of your stock.
So you make it less.
So you say to yourself, you know what, if I want to shift it today, I might have to reduce the price. So you reduce the price and then more shifts. And then you got like 2 hours left until the end of the day. You really want to shift it now, so you drop the price even more.
Yeah.
So why has your value gone down? The price of the thing hasn't changed, but
you just want to get rid of it.
not just that, but you've realized from the demand that you've received from this supply that the community hasn't valued it the same way you do. You might think this is worth a tenner or a fiver, but the collective hasn't seen that.
Okay.
And that shows in the fact that no one's buying it. So let's look at the other scenario. He's got loads of stock. He says to himself, it's a fiver, but you know what? I feel a bit generous today. I'm going to make it $2.50.
Okay.
He says $2.50, discount price.
Uh-huh.
By noon, it's gone.
Yeah.
He realizes now, I was very cheap.
Yeah.
Because why? It's all gone.
So gone, yeah.
So supply and demand is about basically reaching that balance. If the price of things are too high, no one's buying. If the price is too low, it sells out too quickly. There has to be a level in the middle whereby the supply meets the demand.
Okay.
So all markets, it'll always fluctuate like this.
Yeah.
So, for example, that's why you might find, even like today, petrol, if even you must hear on the news, Saudi Arabia, they're mining more barrels. Why are they bringing more barrels into the market? They're building more supply. If there's more supply, therefore the price would
go down.
If Saudi says, you know what, I'm not happy with what you're doing in Israel, or I'm not happy with what you're doing in this country, I'm not happy, I'm going to use it.
Pour the barrels out.
They'll just say, yeah, we're going to half our production, meaning it's going to be less supply. If the supply comes down, but the demand is still the same, therefore I'm going to pay more to get it before you get it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. But how did that happen to...
So with regards to currencies, so money, now there's a market where money is transacted. Yeah, where money is transacted, where people buy money and people sell money. Now, they might think, okay, because of Brexit, the money's going to go down. If it goes down...
Meaning the pound.
The pound, yeah.
Stop buying the pound.
No, they have doubts that the value of the pound is going to be the same tomorrow. So they say to themselves, I'm going to sell now quickly.
Who's going to sell?
Whoever has it on the market. Whoever's on these markets, on the stock exchange, whatever, on these Forex.
It's about Forex trading.
I won't say Forex, but basically where currencies are exchanged.
So people have invested in currency?
Yeah, people do it all the time. People buy money and they sell money. Even when I was in Saudi, there was times where...
But is that permissible, like to sell...
The thing is, it's one of those questions. It's one of those kind of pointless questions. I'm not saying you're being saying pointless questions. Yeah. It's one of those pointless questions that whether it's permissible or not, it's happening.
It's happening. Okay.
It's happening. So there are markets that exist on planet Earth where people exchange currencies. So if I'm a rich man in the UK and I see Brexit happening, I quickly want to get my money out of it, about £1 because I reckon it's going to go down. So I start selling my money, my British pound, not selling it. I start exchanging that money into the euro,
for example,
or into the dollar.
Dollars.
Now I go to the market. I say, look, lads, I've got £1 million here. Who wants to take the £1 million? So one guy says, look, I've got $5. I'll take it off you for that much. He said, okay, here you go. Another guy.
Oh, wow. So that's literally what they were doing.
Yeah, hold on, give me a second. So there's a demand for pounds at a certain price point. So I've sold my money to everyone who's here, but I still want to sell and there's no one there. So I think, okay, I need to get rid of this money. Who's else going to take it? No one's going to buy it from me at this point. But there is a guy who's going to buy it from me at this point. So I said to him, I was like, okay,
the shop.
Yeah, okay, take some money from him for this point. So there's one pence cheaper. Okay, sold. Now the market's gone. There's no one here buying at this price point.
So you have to decrease.
But there is a guy who's coming here. So I'll start selling here. and here and here, and that keeps on happening until the price goes lower and lower and lower. That's how markets work.
And the reason why it happens so quickly is because of the fear.
It's literally just down to supply and demand. If there's no one here who's going to buy at this point, I have to go to a point who they are willing to buy.
But the reason I'm saying with Brexit happened like overnight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so if Brexit happened...
because there's so many times you think, oh, this happened, or overnight this happened.
Yeah, so basically what happened was there were people who were willing to sell. There's not enough people willing to buy.
And they wanted to sell because they were like, raw.
Yeah, they wanted to sell because they wanted to get out.
Okay.
So as the funny joke is, this is the irony. If they were selling because they feared the money was going to go down lower, their actions made money go lower. So they actually caused...
And that's always happening with the stock market, right?
Everything. Same thing with Apple. Imagine this. Listen to this. Imagine Apple stocks. Yeah, I want to buy some Apple stocks. So I heard a rumor that Apple's going to release a new iPhone, not in September, where they normally do it, but next month.
Okay.
And you realize that when they do that, the price of the stock is going to go up. I had an inside information. I heard it. So I myself and told all my mates, quick, let's get some stocks.
Okay.
So the rumor kind of spread. You know, let's get in. So we've gone to the marketplace to buy the stock. So I bought it at the price that it's at right now.
But you know it's going to go up.
No. I bought it right now. It hasn't gone up yet. But as we bought at that price, we've exhausted that price. There's no one else left to sell me their stock at that price. But we still want to buy.
So then they increase the price.
Yeah, so we'll go to the other guy who's offering it for more.
Okay.
So, I'll buy it for you. Now we've exhausted that price. Who's next?
The guy above him.
The guy above him. And that's how it goes. Okay. So you might have an Apple stock. I go to you and say, Imran, I'll buy it off you. And you go, no, I'm holding on to it. Okay, how much you want to give me for it? How much you give me for it? I'll give it to you for 500. 500? Bro, the stock is worth 200 right now. Yeah, that's how much I'm selling. 500. Okay. So I said to you, you know what, allow you. I'm not coming back to you. I look around. Can't find no one's going to sell me for less than 500.
So if you really want it, you're going to come to me in the end.
There you go. That's how it works. That's how all markets work, whether it's to do with stocks, commodities, bonds, currencies, anything. It's just supply and demand. That's why you were not willing to pay 10p for a packet of crisps when you were younger, but now 20p is normal.
Yeah.
Because then you could have got it cheaper somewhere else, but now you can't. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So the price of, so back to the point of Bitcoin, what is the value of Bitcoin? Well, the reality is 99.9% of people are not buying Bitcoin. So the demand isn't really there, as it is at the moment. But when people do rush in, because there's not many people involved, it pushes the price quite a lot. So if imagine I want to buy Bitcoin right now. Literally, let's
do I have to buy it for pounds?
No, you can buy. You can do anything. I mean, Bitcoin's like anything. I mean, how would I get dollars off of you? Imagine you got dollars.
So to get into the Bitcoin process, I have to actually give up currency.
Bro, it's like anything. It's exchange. Remember. So
it's exchanging.
It's exchange. Let's go back to Adam. Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
I want to get something from you, but you know, I know you. You're my friend and that, but I don't know you that well. I don't know you that well for you to give me a whole Bitcoin. Yeah. So how am I gonna get it off you? Exchange something.
So I'm saying, so for example, let's just say I've got a person I want to get involved in Bitcoin. I'm gonna pay him, let's just say £1,000 for a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So now he's taking my money and I've got a Bitcoin. But I thought the whole process was to like eliminate people and the trust. But I'm still giving him money. The money's still like the foundation.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing. So
like in essence, that I can never really leave money.
No. The issue is, if you go back to the beginning, when we went beyond me just trusting you because you're my brother. Now I want something written to record what you owe me. We've moved from feathers to stones to gold to pounds I mean, it's all taking different forms, but essentially, what are we all doing? We're recording what we owe. So you might have £1, and I might have a Bitcoin or $1, and if you're willing to exchange that with that, it's all the same. So the question now is, which is what you've mentioned here about investing in Bitcoin. I often hear this a lot. Should I invest in Bitcoin? Well, that's the wrong kind of question. Wrong kind of question. Would you invest in euros? I mean,
I don't know.
No, I mean seriously. I mean, would you go to anyone on the street and said, "Would you invest in euros?" They would think to yourself, "Why would I invest in euros? Euros is money." As in, it has no physical use, beyond the means of exchange.
Okay.
Bitcoin has no physical use beyond recording a means of exchange. It's not like gold, whereby it has a use beyond means of exchange, or like iron nails for the Scots people who use it for money. You could have exchanged iron nails
and then use it to hammer.
Or you could have hammered something in.
Yeah.
Bitcoin has physically no use beyond the record of account.
Okay.
Which is the third thing. So we mentioned it is a means of exchange. It is a store of value in the sense that it is a finite, limited supply.
Yeah.
Whether the value of it goes up and down, I contest whether this is a fault of Bitcoin. I think it's something which exists in anything which is volatile. I mean, anything which is not really used often, but it doesn't have many players involved. But the last one was a unit of account. Now, this is the biggest problem with Bitcoin at the moment, is that if I went to a coffee shop, I said to him, can I have a cup of coffee?
They're not going to know how many Bitcoins it is.
Yeah. I mean, if he does, he'll say it's £1 and £1 in Bitcoin's worth of that, then that's how much you pay in Bitcoin. But essentially, mentally speaking, we're still transacting in pounds, mentally speaking. But if you can look at that, it's only a mental thing. If I had a coffee shop here and I put here a sign saying coffee is 1 Satoshi, then that is my unit. So Bitcoin can be and is a unit of account if I set the units. It's not readily understood what a unit is.
But that's a process.
But it's a process. It's something. It's a process which is down to adoption. Now, in countries like Venezuela, where they're now leaving their currency because of hyperinflation and they're moving towards Bitcoin, there is a unit of account for them because they know how much things cost in Venezuela.
Okay, so they've done it there basically.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. It is understood how much things are. I mean, you can go to websites where you buy things in Bitcoin. There are websites that do exist where you buy things.
Amazon, you can. Is that true?
No, there was a rumor that Amazon was going to do that, but they never did. So back to the question, which is why you're here in the first place. Yeah. Can I invest or own or use the means of transacting or a means of exchange, or hold on to Bitcoin? You answer the question based on that long.
I have a question with regards to that.
Yeah, answer the question.
So isn't the hukum, the ruling that you cannot trade in things that don't have any tangible basis?
Perfect. See, this is
like the paper. It does have a tangible basis in the sense where. Well, this is confusing.
Paper's a bad example, but paper's a bad example. Gold is.
Well, I always thought, because the reason why so you obviously from a curveball here, because I always thought paper was based on gold. That's
one of the fallacies.
So if it's based on gold, then I can understand why paper would have a value.
But it's not anymore.
So then what's happening?
Yeah, so there's one of the fallacies of today, which most people still believe in, is that money. They basically had this idea that on a banknote it says, I promised the bearer to pay them this, that, and the other in gold. Yeah. And if you go to a bank, he'll give you the value of that in gold. Yeah. That stopped a long time ago. They're not gonna give you nothing. It is what you can buy gold with that, but they're not gonna give you. There is no vault of gold where they're supplying to back up the money. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
That fallacy ended in the 70s. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the issue of Bitcoin. What you highlighted there is that it's not a tangible thing. This is one of the challenges the ulama are facing today. And when I say the ulama, I don't mean in a derogatory term. I'm saying in terms of understanding. Throughout history, we've always measured things by tangible. Because the tangible is the only real mechanism we've actually had, foolproof mechanism, to remove what's called double spend. Double spend means I've given you £10, but I still had £10. Yeah. Because if I've given it to you, I no longer have it. Okay. If you want to give it back to me, now you no longer have it. So what other system do we know of that does that?
You're saying that's why trading in intangible things is haram?
That is one of the bases why, yeah. Because for example, if I said to you, for example, can I trade you some ideas? I'll pay you 5 ideas. I mean, you can't grab it. You can't. It's not something tangible. I can't even trade you things like a bird in the tree.
So you're saying that's the illah behind the prohibition, the reasoning. So then, if you can remove that.
No, what I'm saying is that with Bitcoin, what was not understood by those who have said it's not allowed, is that Bitcoin actually has, although it's not physically tangible, it still has scarcity, which is what they're all looking at.
So you're saying that the whole the discussion around tangibility is based on scarcity?
But yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And therefore, I mean, like I said, the whole reason that what gave gold value is because we collectively have given it a value. But in terms of what it is, gold is only the value of gold because you want it, and I can't make 1 gold bar 2 gold bars. But Bitcoin is actually the same. If I send you 1 Bitcoin, there's no way to send you 1 Bitcoin and I still have a Bitcoin. It's impossible.
So you're saying that the prohibition is only with regards to that?
Yeah. So there is one other caveat. There was one scholar, Sheikh Haytham Haddad. He mentioned in one meeting we had with him that he believes that because Allah said dinar wa dirham, he specified dhahab al-fidda, gold and silver, as what you pay zakah. Therefore, money can only be gold and silver. But I said to him, but Sheikh, where is the dalil that money can only be gold and silver? Because what you're essentially saying is that Allah has decreed from the heavens that if I want to buy something or sell something, it must be gold and silver. And if I want to give you copper instead of gold, that transaction is batil.
Yeah.
That needs evidence. What we do know is that gold and silver they were using, but at the same time we do know that at their times they used to wear a turban. We do know that at their time they used to wear certain clothing.
Yeah.
Now, that's something that they did. But was it intended sharia? Or was it just something that they did? They transacted in dinar and dirham because that's what they had. But was it intended that was only the means of transaction at that time? Now, as we know, we mentioned the ayah beginning, Allah said, He has created everything for you in this earth jami'an. So things are by default halal. And we know that in Islam, I can use anything as a means of transaction. I can give you a car in exchange for 5 sofas, can't I? I can exchange you 1 car for 5 sofas, can't I? Yeah. So why can't we all agree that 5 sofas are worth 1 car, and we start now exchanging and doing trade in sofas? We could do that. As long as if we all agree to do that, we can do that.
Okay.
I mean, I even said to the Sheikh, I said, Sheikh, if we went to an island, people were like sailing in the seas, trying to spread Islam to all these islands. We came across an island where they transacted in shells. Are we going to say to them, Akhi, take Shahada, and by the way, when you become Muslim, you're going to have to remove all these shells and start using gold? You can't say it's mandatory to use gold and silver.
Yeah.
Gold and silver are means of exchange, and they're very good ones, by the way, because they're scarce. I mean, there's something like 37 tons of gold on planet Earth only so far. I mean, some really scarce like that. But at the same time, is that the only means of exchange? The beauty of Bitcoin is that we get all the free things of money, and we remove the problems we had with gold and silver. The problems we had with gold is that storage. Yeah. How can you store £1 million of gold?
It's very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
You have to get people to. You have to pay people to come and secure it with weapons and whatnot. And how would you transact small indivisible parts of gold? I want to buy a penny sweet with a gold coin. How would I do that? With Bitcoin, we resolve that.
It's a lot of hurry, bro.
Yeah, you have to. How do you do that? So Bitcoin has that feature. What I do feel though is going to happen, and mark my words, I might be wrong. Who knows? But once the knowledge of what Bitcoin is becomes more widespread and more acceptable, to the point whereby people think about spending it without thinking I'm spending Bitcoin, then you start seeing fatwa change because people understand it. It'll be known. It's like Twitter. I remember when Twitter first kicked off, there were loads of ulama saying Twitter is haram and blah, blah, blah. But eventually, when everyone knew what it was, then it became a normal thing again. And just to give you an example of some of the things that's to highlight how those who said that Bitcoin is not allowed or whatnot. One sheikh said, what are they going to do if someone turns off the website of Bitcoin? What are they going to do with their money then? This indicates a problem. Is there a website of Bitcoin? Is there a Bitcoin website?
No.
There isn't. Remember, because Bitcoin is just a record that is collected by everyone who has a node. Okay. It exists on the internet, and there's no way to stop it or to shut it down. If I wanted to shut it down, there actually isn't a way to shut it down. Even if a solar flare came and knocked out the internet on planet Earth for 5 days, as soon as the internet comes back on again, it's still there. Nothing's happened. Nothing's changed.
Okay.
So, but my point was not to criticize the sheikh. My point was just to highlight that as the Sheikh himself taught me, because I studied with the Sheikh, he said that حكم على الشيء فرع عن تصوره. Having a ruling on something is actually an extension of the correct
Really
understanding of it.
Yeah.
If you understand it well, then you can give a correct hukum on it.
Sahih.
If your understanding is incorrect, then no doubt the hukum is going to be incorrect. If you start thinking that Bitcoin is something that I can control, I understand what the Sheikh is saying. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If it was the case that a person could turn off Bitcoin, then I'll be saying the same as the Sheikh. But the problem is, that is actually something that actually happens with money. In India, last year, I don't know if you know about this, in India, they announced that all rupees worth, I think, more than $200 or $100 or whatever it was, in the next 4 hours, is going to be worth nothing.
Really?
Yeah. They announced that this currency, this unit of account, is now going to be null and void, like with null and void, at this time.
SubhanAllah, just like that.
Yeah. So there was a mad rush to the banks to exchange the money into other units. They can reserve their money. But literally, they announced that they're going to switch off the value of that money. Now, why would India do that? That sounds so stupid. What they claimed, it was to do with money laundering. There are lots of people who have large stores of money, illegal money, and in order to weed it out, they just made ilgha of it. So all those who have illegal money, they have no means of legalizing it. Because if you go to the banks where you get money from, like, I don't know, I just sold a few bags of weed. I don't know. They can't do that. So if they tried to get it legalized, then they'll find out and then they'll lose their money. So that was the psychology behind it. But the point was, what was accused of Bitcoin, someone just switching it off,
is actually happening to money.
It's actually this case of money. Because money now is in the hands of the government can literally switch it off. Now, some may say, but they're not going to do that. No one in England's going to switch off the dollar or the pound or whatever, the sterling. But what they don't realize, they do it all the time.
Okay.
It's called inflation. Inflation means, just a quick brief review. I'm not conclude this very soon because I know everyone's getting bored of me talking. But just very brief view of what inflation is and why Bitcoin is anti-inflation. Okay. Imagine the total value in our market in UK is £10. Okay. And there are £10 coins in circulation. So that means each pound coin is worth £1 in value. So if I give that to you, it's a £1 coin, I give that to you, you know it's £1 coin. Yeah. Because the total market is £10. And there's only 10 of these coins. Yes. Inflation means, so the government says, lads, we've exhausted our reserves, our money, it's all gone. We need some more money. Let's print some more. Okay. Let's now make 12 coins. So we've got 10 coins in circulation. We need £2 extra. Let's just make £2 extra because we control the money. Let's now make 2 coins extra. But the one guy goes, yeah, but the total market value is still 10. Yeah, but don't worry. Now that it is still 10, but now we have 12 coins to represent that 10. Okay. So now they have 12 coins. They now buy and sell. But now when you go to the market and you now give that £1 you have and say, look, here's £1 worth £1. The guy goes, no, it's not worth £1 anymore. You say, well, how's it not worth £1? Of course it's worth £1. Brother, there's 12 coins in circulation. The value of the market is 10, but there's 12 coins in circulation. What's 10 divided by 12?
You can't divide it.
No, you can. It's 0 point whatever, 9 points. Yeah. Do calculation. What's 10 divided by 12?
Basically, it's losing value.
There you go. That's the meaning of inflation.
Divided by 12. 0.83 recurring.
Yeah, so now, my £1 coin, which was worth £1, is now actually worth
0.83.
Which is 83 pence.
So it loses value. Okay.
So it loses value. So when they say inflation, that means every single year, the value of the pound that you have in your pocket is losing value by a certain percentage.
So I got £1, but it's worth less. Yeah. And every year it's less. But I'm still trading with it.
Yeah, you still trade with it. Okay. But I'm saying that...
But eventually it's going to collapse.
No, what it means is that the value of your trade decreases. So let me give an example we can all understand. I'm sure most of the viewers can understand this idea. An iPhone. Yeah. An iPhone in 2008 was worth 500 quid. Yeah. In 2000 and... Now, actually, you can get the same kind of cheap iPhone, the cheapest iPhone you can get, brand new. is about £670.
Uh-huh.
Has the value of iPhone gone up?
One more time, sorry.
It used to be 500 quid
£500,
for
but now
iPhone,
670.
but now 670.
So it's
Has the
gone up,
value
yeah.
has it gone up?
It's gone up, yeah.
No,
670.
it's not gone up. Look at inflation. What you do?
Uh-huh.
Let me show you. How. This is where the bump of the system
Yeah.
comes into play. Okay, so £500
Mm-hmm.
was in 2008. Now I'm going to multiply by inflation of 3%.
Uh-huh.
Inflation is probably more than that, but 3%. So 10 years have passed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now 10 years later, with inflation of 3%,
Yeah.
£500 then is now worth £670.
Okay.
So in our mind, we think, wait, why is Apple raising the prices?
They're not. It's just that what's happened is that inflation's happened.
Exactly,
So
the
they've
value
only-
of your pound is actually
yeah.
gone down
So they've only raised the price to match the inflation.
to match the inflation. The value is the same, but they've actually... So that's what they call the issue of purchasing power. The power of your money, the amount you can buy with it, is actually going down and down and down and down. So at this, this is only 10 years. So imagine in 20 years. So let me add another 20 years. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in 30 years, listen carefully, in 30 years, so that was 2009. In 2009, £500, so let's go, £500 in 2009 would be worth in 2039, 1,200 quid.
Okay.
So
So
literally,
the price is the value is the same, but the price is going up to match the inflation.
yeah, I mean, the value of things are the same. The thing is, the value is determined by work, how much work it entails.
Yeah.
But because the government is printing more and more and more money, the money you have in your hand, the value of it is actually going down and down and down, and you don't even realize it. You think,
Okay.
mashallah, I'm saving it. Every year, my money's in the bank and it's saving. No one's touching it. My £1,000 is going to be worth £1,000. No. In 10 years' time, that £1,000 in the bank is going to be worth. You're going to lose a third of your value in only 10 years, and you're going to lose half your value in 30 years. Sorry, more than half in 30 years. That's called inflation.
More than half the value in 30 years. So what should you be putting in? Investing as in like setting up businesses?
Well, I mean, I even came across a video the other day. He said that in order to beat inflation,
Yeah.
your money, the money you have saved, you need to be earning 3% every year, just to keep the value you have
So every year you need to be earning 3% more.
on your savings to keep the savings. That's not even making profit. That's just to break even.
So any investment that you invest in should be making more than 3% return.
Yeah, in order to break even, in order to keep the value you have.
So
Yeah.
you need to go in basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you're saving money by putting
What's the return on Bitcoin? Out of curiosity, do you know?
See, Bitcoin, Apple stocks, Amazon shares, bonds, investing in companies, all of it has a risk. Now, there's a risk that Bitcoin will increase in value, and the risk that Bitcoin will decrease in value.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, if you compare Bitcoin to Apple, the volatility. When I say volatility, what I mean by volatility is in the range at which the value changes is quite high. Example, when I first got interested in learning about Bitcoin was in August 2017.
Okay.
The value of Bitcoin then was about $3,500
For one.
for one. That was in August of 2017. September, October, December. So 4 months later, the value of Bitcoin went to 20,000.
Wow.
Because there was a bit of a bubble and it skyrocketed. It was about 20,000. And that was in 2017. Now we're in February 2019. The value of one Bitcoin is 3,500. No, 3,700.
Okay.
It's back to what it was before. So it went all the way up here and it came back down here. So no doubt, if you bought Bitcoin August time in 2017, right now you would have exactly the same amount of money you had then. Because it went up and then it went back down to where it was now.
Yeah.
If you bought it then and sold it at 20, you would have earned probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount. You would have earned 5 times your money. I mean, your £1,000 would be worth £5,000. But if you bought a 20 and then
You lost the money.
and then now you're here, you would have lost about 80% of your money.
Okay.
Now, whose fault is that? No, it's about anything really. It's like if I bought Saudi riyals, no, it's like Turkish lira. Turkish lira last year in October, it literally went from 4 lira to a pound to 7 in a month, or in a few weeks actually. So literally almost halved in a week, lira. And now it's kind of like recovered a bit. So if I put money all into lira when it was low, when it went up, I would have let money. But if I did the opposite, I would have lost money.
Okay.
Whose fault is that? It's just the markets, the way markets are. If you treat Bitcoin like an investment, then you have to look in terms as an investor. You have to invest right. Invest when it thinks it's cheap, sell it when it's older, like normal things. And with that comes risk. But if you treat Bitcoin like a currency that you buy and sell, it won't affect you because you would receive Bitcoin, you would have spent Bitcoin. You would receive Bitcoin, you would have spent Bitcoin. It would have gone up and down, but you're buying and selling. You're constantly sitting in and out.
Okay.
So it won't have bothered you.
Yeah, reason.
So it all depends on how you treat Bitcoin. I do believe that money, and this is probably the way we probably come to a conclusion here, that money, or cash as we know it, is coming to an end. Why do I say that? Not because I'm pro-Bitcoin or I love the idea of Bitcoin, but because governments across the world put you into shackles with their money. You are technically a slave to currency.
Okay.
Meaning you can't buy and sell without their permission. What does that mean, brother? When I graduated from Medina University, I was out of the country for 7 years. When I graduated, I came back to the UK, I had no bank account. I went to the bank, I said, can I get a bank account?
They said no.
They said no. We need proof of address. So I've been away for 7 years, I haven't got proof of address. So I need to go and get proof of address, some kind of utility or bill. I said, I haven't got no bills. So I went to O2 to get a phone line. I said, I need a
They
phone
said no
chip.
because they want proof of.
This is no, I need a bank account. So I can't get a phone line because I need a bank account. I can't get a bank account, I need a phone line. I'm stuck. They have a system that locked you out without their permission. So it works because there is no other option.
Yeah.
But the more people learn that there's an alternative system that don't need permission, that eventually will filter out. Every time a person is locked out of the system, they'll say, you know what, forget you, I'm going to go somewhere else. Which is what's happening in Venezuela. Venezuela, there's a system that is failing. So therefore, they are going towards Bitcoin. Just, I think last month, $1 million of Bitcoin was exchanged in Venezuela, cash in hand. And that is with the fact that their Venezuelan Baleros, I think, is worth almost nothing. So they're the second most transacted currency on planet Earth in Bitcoin on planet Earth is in Venezuela. Why? Because there's a need for it. We in the UK don't realize it because our system at the moment is working. At the moment, is working. Yeah. But the moment hyperinflation occurs or things go down or the next crash happens and people start realizing that their savings of £1,000 is now worth 30 quid, they were wondering, what the heck? What's happening here?
Sorry.
And one last point related to the system we have here. We are in a system that is very unstable. And that's based on what's called the banking system. I'm not saying bankers are horrible people because they're just shayateen. No, they're just human beings like us. I mean, if you go to most of the banks in this area, they're all Muslims actually. Most of them are Fatimas and Abdullahs who work in the banks. But if I was to print off money, I'll go to jail. But banks have a license to print money. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Barclays prints its own notes.
Not physical, no, but they do print out money. Let me explain.
Bank guarantees.
No, let me explain. And this is why, this is actually the reason why I got involved in Bitcoin. And I think this probably, if you used to take anything away from this discussion, it would be actually this point. All the talk before is kind of just was to establish that it was halal, you could say. But this is probably the most important thing. We all hate riba. And therefore, we have our bank accounts. We tell them we don't want any interest.
Yeah.
And we think by that, we fool ourselves to believe we're not involved in riba. It's a lie. When you give your money to the bank, is it a wadi'ah or is it a qard? We mentioned it earlier.
It's a loan to them.
It's a loan to them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
They don't know that, yeah. It's a loan to them.
Because they're going to take that money, they're going to use it
Perfect.
to give out as a loan to someone else.
Perfect. Yeah. But the issue of the printing money comes into the fact whereby, imagine I give £100 to the bank account. if I look at my bank balance, it says I got £100. So you think I have £100 I can access at any time.
Yeah.
But legally, the government has given them permission to lend out 90% of that money to somebody else.
Okay.
So what's happened is that although they tell you they have your £100,
But they don't.
90% of that is actually not even there. It's gone out somewhere else. They're making money off of that. So what that means is they have £100 here and £90 here. How much is that? 190 quid. They just made £90 out of nowhere. So now listen to this. I have now gone and made £90. So I'm a banker. You've given me £100. I've now put this back £100 here. I said, okay, this is Imran's £100. I'm gonna take £90 of that. I'm gonna loan it to your brother. Yeah. So he's now £100. He takes £90. Says, okay, I'm gonna spend that. But in order to spend that, I've got to put it in the bank. So he puts it into the bank. He deposits into his bank account. But what just happened there? They got permission to lend out £90, isn't it? Lend at 90%. So that £90, 90% of £90, they're now going to lend out to someone else. So that £100 became 190, now became 200 and something odd, and that's called fractional reserve banking. So that is why, you've probably heard of many countries like Argentina or Greece, when people make a mad rush to the banks. Why do the banks close their doors and don't give people the money?
Because they run out of money.
There's no money. So only the joke is you only need 3% of the UK to withdraw all their money from the bank account for the system to collapse.
Subhanallah, 3%.
Yeah, because the rest of the money
It's all given
doesn't
out.
exist. No, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Wow.
It's only out there on the vision that it will be paid back later.
Okay. Are you saying, but with Bitcoin you avoid all that?
Well, the thing is, Bitcoin, I can't print more Bitcoin.
It's limited.
It's limited in its supply. I can't make Bitcoin. I can't print them more. So there's no inflation. There's no, in terms of fractional reserve banking, I guess you could do it in terms of, if I had a custodian, if I said, give me your Bitcoin, I'll look after it for you, I could lend it to someone else, and I tell you, I still got your Bitcoin here, I haven't got it. I could do that. Yeah. But I'm saying, in terms of the fragility of the system at the moment, America has now made a world record recently. Their debt that they owe to other countries has now breached $21 trillion.
Wow.
They owe $21 trillion to the world.
Subhanallah. And they don't even have that.
Yeah, and it's money that doesn't exist. They don't have it. And the debt's not actually going down. The debt's still going up. Every day it's going up.
And all it takes when that collapses, the whole economy is just gonna.
Thing is, when it collapses, if it collapses, I don't know. I'm not gonna read in the crystal ball and tell you the future, but it definitely is a system which is spiraling out of control. And the question is, how could it, the thing is they have no interest in paying it back. That's the thing. If you owe that much money, imagine you, Imran, owe that much money. As a Muslim, you know that you should pay off your debts. Yeah. You make an effort to pay it back. You won't go into more debt.
They're not even trying to.
Why are they trying to? They're not even trying to. So, I'm going to use this word loosely. When it collapses, people are going to go to another system. Would it be Bitcoin? Maybe. Would it be gold? Most likely. Would it be silver? Probably, yeah. People will go to things which they trust in. People already trust in the gold because you can't make more gold than it is there. They trust in silver because you can't make more silver. They will go to something else. Might go to the thing is they can't go to their currency because their currency is pegged to the dollar. Yeah. So people put their money somewhere else. That's a fact. Even there's in Venezuela when their currency was actually going down. You know what they used to do to reserve their money? They used to even buy cars and washing machines to store their money.
Subhanallah.
Because they knew that in a year's time, the washing machine would be worth more now than it is now. They'll buy anything to save their cash.
Subhanallah.
So when or if the
those
system
things would retain more value than the actual money itself.
So people will do whatever. They'll go to Bitcoin. They'll go to buying houses. They'll go to buying property or going to business. People will do anything to store their money when it collapses. At the moment, everyone's chilling. Everyone's happy. I'm all right. The pound sterling is strong. But when it's not strong anymore, or if it's not strong anymore, who knows what happens? People go to something else. But the appeal, and this I'll say to conclude, the appeal of Bitcoin is that it's a system that doesn't need your permission. you can control $1 trillion of Bitcoin on a single wallet the size of your finger. You can send all 1 trillion to someone else in a second, and it will only cost you probably a couple of pence.
SubhanAllah.
That's the appeal of Bitcoin. I'm not sure if I want to leave it there.
No, I think it's been very insightful.
I mean, there's lots of things that can be said. We'll probably discuss another time later on. On other things, because there's things like Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies. I only spoke about Bitcoin. There are other coins that exist.
Oh, there's other ones that exist?
Yeah, because remember, Bitcoin is just a program.
So people just replicate that program?
Yeah, people literally took the same code as Bitcoin, adjusted it slightly, and said, we've got another coin. Bitcoin is different in many ways. We can discuss it another time. But Bitcoin is, you could say, the daddy. That is. But
isn't that a problem in and of itself? That couldn't the issue of scarcity kind of fizzle out if everyone's just making up their own programs and introducing their own cryptocurrencies? But
yeah, I mean, just to ask the question very quickly, just whatever question you ask about Bitcoin, apply it to back in the past. That's why I brought the past involved. We had the dinar and dirham, but they had other coins.
Okay.
Did it affect them? Not
No,
really.
it didn't.
If you went to a country that didn't deal in dinar and dirham, you have to go to someone who converts.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. Same kind of thing.
Okay.
So we can discuss this another time, inshallah. And hopefully it's been beneficial.
No, wallahi, it's been very, very insightful, inshallah. I think it's important because, wallahi, one of the most difficult things is to actually understand the surah in the first place, the actual issue.
Surah Mas'ala, understanding what we're actually dealing with here. And yeah, that is the most important thing. I'm not saying, by the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying rush out and buy it.
Yeah. You're just here to explain.
I'm just saying that what it is, and wait 2, 3, 5 years, maybe 10 years time. Cryptocurrency won't even be a question you ask. It's going to be everyday life.
It's going to be everyday life.
If you get into it early, maybe get into it early, but do your own research.
Okay,
hopefully, maybe we could do more talks about what it is. And
yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but lots of people have been asking me about binary trading and forex trading stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what we could do
something on those.
Probably in the next video, we probably can do another video on, for example, how to get a Bitcoin, how to transfer a Bitcoin, how to receive a Bitcoin, or any cryptocurrencies, just so you can see how easy it is, how simple it is.
Okay.
And we could do it another time, inshallah.
Okay.
Let's give everyone just enough time to have a break. I've probably spoken everyone to death now.
Thank you guys so much for listening and paying attention. Thank you to Sheikh Muawiyyah for giving us his valuable time. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to definitely arrange some more sit downs. We're going to look to see what your guys' feedback is, see if we can maybe do a part 2 on this topic, inshallah ta'ala.
And one very important caveat or very important disclaimer. I am not saying Bitcoin is Quran. It was a controversial statement I made just to get everyone's attention. But I was only drawing a parallel between the way in which the Quran was preserved and the way in which the information is preserved in the blockchain. Not that the blockchain is Quran. If anything, the parallel is more to do with blockchain and Tawatur than Quran. But just for everyone just draw a parallel to do the same thing. That's it.
Thank you so much.
No problem, inshallah.
With that said, inshallah, we're going to leave you guys. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Yo,
what's going on, bro?
Yeah, I got the thing.
What? How much is in there?
20 mil.
You being serious?
Yeah, hold that. It's yours now.
You guys are probably wondering how this dusty looking camera is worth 20 mil. Let me break it down for you. About 6 years ago, some brothers and sisters gave us about £600 in order for us to purchase this camera to make da'wah videos. 6 years later, alhamdulillah, we made well over 1,000 videos and we reached over 20 million plus views on YouTube alone without taking into account all the other social media platforms that we're on. So those people at the time when they gave that money, I don't think they had any idea that £600 that they gave was gonna go towards a camera that would reach 20 million people who watch videos and they changed their lives after having watched them, who watched these videos and started praying, who watched these videos and accepted Islam. Can you imagine if they were sincere, the kind of reward that they're gonna get on the day of judgment, inshallah ta'ala? But now here's the issue. This camera is 6 years old. I mean, there's cracks in it, it's breaking, it's well past its sell-by date. We're trying to take things up to the next level. In order to do that, we need a new camera. In fact, we need more than one. We need more equipment. We need to actually hire a bigger media team. But all of this stuff, it comes with expenses, it comes with costs. And over the next 6 years, inshallah ta'ala, we're looking to reach well over 20 million people. Now look, I'm gonna be direct with you. I'm about to ask you for some money to put towards the da'wah for the sake of Allah. But before I do that, I wanna tell you some figures, some statistics to show you the kind of reward that you might be looking at, inshallah, if you come with sincerity and the donation. Just take a look at the kind of numbers we have over the last 90 days. Over the last 90 days, we received over 1.4 million views on our YouTube channel alone. That's 466,000 views every 30 days. That's 15,555 views per day. That's right. You could be in your sleep, sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours a day, however much you sleep, and you're just earning a reward, inshallah ta'ala. Why? Because you gave a bit of money that went towards a very big project. Now, with that 15,000 odd views a day, if you average that out across 6 years, which is the lifespan of this camera, do you know how much reward that is, inshallah? That's 34,065,450 views. I don't know about you, but that kind of reward, I need that in my life. This is not the kind of opportunity that we should be passing up, especially if you've got sins. The Prophet ﷺ said that giving charity wipes away sins the way that water, it extinguishes fire. So look, say no more, inshallah ta'ala. I don't feel like I should have to convince you towards giving to a project like this anymore. If you want that kind of reward, you want the da'wah to spread, you want la ilaha illallah to spread across the internet, inshallah ta'ala, then you want to give at the link below to this project. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Remember, 20 mil, yeah? And that's on YouTube alone.